So this is a broken VAS air screw. The SMA connector here came off of it. If I just put it back together and then flow a bunch of solder right onto that, it should work as new. So first I'm just going to try to heat up the mount here and run a bunch of this right up in there. There we go. Look at that. Hopefully maybe it's a little bit stronger this time. Yeah, I think that should work pretty well. And it's very hot. Ouch. But I'm also remaining after replacing a motor here just to make sure it was good to go. Yep. So something's still making a funny sound.
Well, it's 6 a.m. on race day. I gotta clean up this mess before my wife gets home, or she's gonna be pretty mad at me. I love waking up dark.
I'm currently wandering around the house looking for things that I'm missing. Like, I made a list, I planned for everything, but I'm still finding things that I forgot to pack. She always wanders by the door and stands in front of it so that I can't get away. That's a good sit. You shake? Promise not to burn down the house? Good. Stay. Done like a few practice laps. I'm not sure how many. Plenty. Like 4 or 5, something like that. Well, I'm gonna start charging batteries now. Unfortunately, my freaking charger is all the way up back in my car, which is not very close to the place we're racing. They switched me back from the frequency that I had been practicing on to a frequency that I started with at the beginning of the day. So now I've got to go back in, re-switch all my dip switches back to where I started. So that's what I need to do.
I ran out there with a prop missing.
Really?
I was trying to get last practice in.
Get it together, man. These dip switches are a pain in their butt.
Yeah, dude. Fuck that. 4 minutes. Cutting down props.
Why is that? Did you forget to cut your props at home?
Yeah, I did.
Are you eyeballing it?
Eyeballing it. Yeah, I am.
Is it flying pretty steady?
Yeah, it's pretty badass actually.
Well, this kind of tore off. The whole front half of my frame just snapped right off. Check this carnage out.
Oh shit. What's going on? Wow, that's some pretty good carnage. Did you hit something?
The ground.
Oh.
Oh. Yes, I did get a haircut since the last time I filmed. So yeah, the race day didn't go quite exactly as I was hoping. Turns out during the we basically had 2 qualifying rounds and then a final. It's a little bit weird of a format. There wasn't quite enough competing races and 2 more qualifying races than there were for competing. That's fine, I guess, but it turns out that between the first qualifier and the second qualifier we did a practice round, or a free fly, so anybody could go up and anybody could fly, and so while I was out in the free fly, somebody with a vortex powered on. I lost all of my video. I could not see a thing from mine. All I could see was the big vortex logo branded across the front of my goggles, and I had no idea where my quad was. I did my best to try to get it level, and I actually took my goggles off to try to find it with my eyes, but it was a big flying field and I had no idea where it was. So I ended up I ended up finding it at the last minute as I was upside down flying straight at the ground. I gave it a little bit of throttle to try to flip it out, but it wasn't enough, and it landed smash down on top of it. The whole chassis was bent. There were 2 arms that were broken, 1 motor was dead, and I actually was able to swap all of that out in the field just because of the way that I've got my quad set up, but the structural integrity of the entire thing was just gone. So by the end of the day, I've actually got you can see a zip tie is in there holding my nays down because the plastic standoffs ripped off. I have a couple wedged in just to hold it in place. You can see the front of this, the whole top plate actually broke off completely. You can see it just smashed to bits. It was this motor that I replaced. This arm and this arm were the ones that needed to be swapped out. You can see that all of the standoffs in there are just bent to nothing. There's a crack here in the frame there, and I believe there's one up here somewhere. I actually even broke one of my 3D printed risers. And yeah, it's just no props though. Dell props kicking butt. Yeah. So I don't know. I was completely livid at that guy. Oh my gosh, I just had to walk out in the middle of the field, sit down, and I could not believe it. I drove 3 hours. I got 1 qualifying round in, was up during practice. Somebody powered on and knocked my quad out of the sky. Do not power up your quad if there's any chance that you're going to knock someone's frequency out that's in the air. It's just so simple. I can't even believe that somebody would do it. Just make sure that you power down. Don't turn on until you know that you're not going to interfere with anyone. If there's the slightest chance, don't do it. It's just common sense. I don't know. Whew. So yeah, so that wasn't the crash that did this. I actually did end up competing a little bit more. I did my second I did not complete my second qualifier because that was when I discovered that I needed to replace the motor. I actually I swapped the arms. I got everything working. Got up for my qualifier, set up, was there, ready to go, and it wouldn't take off. So I missed my second qualifier. I made it all the way to the last round, which was the competing one, but I was seated lowest out of my category. So I was able to win my category by completing 7 laps. My fastest lap was 23 seconds, I think, which was about 2 seconds slower than the fastest competitor overall. And yeah, so it was good. It was a lot of fun. My quad is in pieces right now. Oh well. That's life.